Hey, what's up, everyone? This is the K-Man 1971, back with my comic book haul for April 2020. I hope everyone is feeling well and staying safe out there during these uncertain times. For this month, I have 23 back issues and 2 magazines to showcase. As we all know, for the most part, aside from a couple of reprints, new comics are still on hiatus. But hey, it's it's better to be jonesing for a new comic than to be jonesing for a respirator nowadays. So, kicking it off this month, Spider-Girl number 0, a reprint of What If number 105, which features the first appearance of Spider-Girl. I always like to get these reprints so I don't have to be mucking up the key issues when I can. So, and even though this was cheap, I guess this does go for like a slight key price if you pick it up online. So, haven't read it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. As I said in my last haul video, my brother back in the 1990s was a huge fan of Spider-Girl, Gen 13, X-Man, to name a few. And while I did not pick up any of those titles or collect any of those titles, I always used to read his stuff after I was done with mine. A long time tradition in many comic book halls across the country, I'm sure. So, Spider-Girl number 0, cool. Oops. Star Brand number 1. Slight upgrade from the copy that I had. My copy had a slight little cover crease down there. It is a tough black cover, but this comic has pretty much always been cheap and pretty much will always remain a cheap comic to pick up. Well, unless Star Brand is featured in a streaming service or cartoon or a movie someday. You know how it all goes. But happy to pick it up. Some more Copper Age cool. The Thing number 1, also my second copy, my original copy, obviously, which I do not own any longer. I picked off the spinner rack way back in the Old Testament. Good stuff. In my earliest stages of collecting comics, The Thing and the Human Torch were 2 of my favorite Marvel characters. Still are to this day. Smurfs number 1, Smurftastic first issue. And yes, just a nice, sweet piece of Saturday morning cartoon childhood nostalgia added into my PC. Not the first appearance of the Smurfs, of course, but pretty cool to have, in my opinion, anyway. Master of Kung Fu number 125, the last issue. Also my second copy, but I thought this was an upgrade for my copy because my copy had a little bit of writing on the cover, like somewhere down here, and this one actually has a little writing in the cover up in the title. So, the hunt continues. There'll be a couple of failures in this haul. I like to share my victories, but I also like to share my failures. All-Star Squadron number 1, also my second copy, and I couldn't resist it. It was only $2, but this is a classic. This is a nostalgic favorite of mine. This was actually the first time in my young comic book purchasing career that I was able to attain a collector's item first issue to a new ongoing series. And I loved it, man. And till this day, I still love this premiere issue. I ended up flipping through it when I picked it up a couple of months ago. This was my introduction to Earth 2, the Golden Age heroes. Until this day, because of this little run, I am still a fan of the JSA and that whole Golden Age era. Love this cover. I also consider this a classic. Roy Thomas really did me a solid back then in my childhood. The Defenders number 85. This is the conclusion of that Black Panther versus Submariner story arc that started in number 84, which is now considered, I guess, a key issue. So I wanted to see how the story actually concluded. So spoilers, Black Panther and Submariner do not throw down in this issue. They do get a little lippy with each other, but then Doctor Strange steps in the middle and he's like, bitches, get a hold of yourselves. So, and nothing happens. So, spoilers, but still cool to have. Continuing on in the Bronze Age, Captain Marvel number 52, number 56, and number 61. One of those classic series that I love to collect. Way back when I first discovered my first comic book shop, I used to buy back issues of series that had already been canceled. Like, I used to buy those because if you were trying to collect a series like, say, Uncanny X-Men or Amazing Spider-Man, there'd be huge holes in the back issue run, and they were also a lot more expensive than what I could handle on my meager allowance at the time. So I would buy comics that had been canceled and had little interest in them at the time, if I was into them. And I was definitely a fan of Captain Marvel, the Micronauts, and Tomb of Dracula. And Till this day, I'm still a fan of all those runs. That was your flashback story from KMN. More Bronze Age, The Savage Samaritan, number 72, which is the last issue of that series. Astonishing Tales, number 8, which features a cameo first appearance of Doctor Doom's mom. Blade Runner, number 1. This is probably my third copy of this comic. I can't state enough that this is one of my favorite movies from the 1980s, that 80s era of my childhood, and this will be my keeper copy. This is just pristine. So I keep on stumbling into this book for like maybe between that $1 to $2 range, and I just keep on picking it up. I'll get rid of my other copies. This will be my keeper copy. You should not pay more than $1 or $2 if you find this out in the wild, but this book will, believe it or not, go for like maybe $10 online. World's Finest, number 212, 52 big pages. Bronze Age throwdown between Superman and Martian Manhunter. Sign me up, man. All right, so those are the books that I picked up during the month that were between that $2 and $5 range. And here are the books that cost me a little bit more money. And unfortunately, we're going to kick it off with 4 losses. So, Marvel Preview, number 21. Outstanding cover, early Bill Sienkiewicz Moon Knight, early Moon Knight story in general, but unfortunately it does have a lot of staining that I didn't notice at first. I thought I could clean it off, but I couldn't. So this is probably only VG, maybe a 5.0, and I did pay $10 for it. Oh well. I like to share the wins and the losses. Here's another slight loss, Bizarre Adventures, the comic formerly known as Marvel Preview. So this features I thought it featured a Tomb of Dracula story, but this does not, it's not really tied into the Tomb of Dracula comic at all. It does not feature the creative team of Marv Wolfman or Gene Colan, and it's basically just a 2-page summary of Dracula's origin. So it was only $6 though. A couple of hauls ago, I said that there was a very fine copy of Marvel Spotlight number 29, which I thought was this one, at my one of my shops for like $10, which I thought was a great deal. And after rebagging and boarding it, I did notice it has some serious cover creasing that goes down on the front of the cover. So unfortunately, overpaid for this one. This one was like $10 too, and out of my 3 copies, this is the worst for wear and the one that I paid the most for. So live and learn. And the last loss, Star Wars number 16. As viewers of my channel know, big time Star Wars fan. So Star Wars Volume 1 is a book that I'm always chopping away at that run also. And I picked this book up because initially I saw a video that featured Walt Simonson saying how this was his first issue on doing art on Star Wars. So I'm like, wow, I'd like to pick that up. That sounds pretty cool. Unbeknownst to me, I guess this character, whom I don't even know the name of, I know he's a bounty hunter, has become popular, at least spec-wise, because of the recent Bounty Hunters series that Marvel's putting out. At least I think that's why this issue costs a little bit more money. So I picked this up at a half-price sale for like $6, but unfortunately, I did not notice the date written up there, as with Master of Kung Fu. Stop slipping in your late 40s. At least I do. Damn. All right, getting on to some better stuff. Amazing Spider-Man number 80. Any issue that is written by Stan Lee on Amazing Spider-Man is automatically on my want list, or any of those issues that I can afford anyway. So very happy to pick this up. I am collecting anything from Amazing Spider-Man from issue 1 to the end of the McFarlane era, but lately I have been focusing in on the Stan Lee issues from the late Silver Age, early Bronze Age. Seems like it's a sweet zone price-wise for me. Little Silver, Fantastic Four, number 77. As with Amazing Spider-Man, any Fantastic Four issue that has Stan Lee and Jack Kirby as the creative team is automatically on my want list as long as I can afford it. And I've definitely been going after issues that feature the Silver Surfer. Great stuff. Showcase number 75, featuring the first appearance of Hawk and Dove. I picked this up sometime in February, shortly after I finished watching Titans Season 2, which I did enjoy. Had some great geek-out moments, but it also had some serious cheesiness, as was the case with Season 1. But as far as a a superhero genre type show on the small screen. Aside from Daredevil, I think the Titans is the best one out there. So still hasn't knocked it out of the park yet, but I am a fan of the show. So hence, I felt the need to pick up the first appearance of Hawk and Dove. Young Avengers number 6 presents Hawkeye, and this is the first time that the original Hawkeye teamed up with the next gen Hawkeye and gives her his blessing. I haven't read it yet, but I'm looking forward to it because of the sweet Alan Davis artwork. Thundercats number 1. Happy to pick this up also. And this will finish it off by 80s nostalgia IPs from my childhood. I now have the first appearance of Thundercats, Masters of the Universe, Transformers, and G.I. Joe, which were all in that sweet zone back in the day of properties that had their own toy line, their cartoon, and a comic book. It was great. Tough to resist. Let me make a little bit of room here for the last couple. Yes, I sold out and I finally picked this up. Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen number 3, the first full appearance of Punchline. Now, I initially avoided this because I wasn't all that impressed with the ending of Snyder and Tinian's run on Justice League. I kind of looked at this as a quote-unquote filler arc between Justice League and Death Metal, and I was just going to jump right on to Death Metal. And Tinian also released a statement prior to the publication of this issue stating how he didn't feel that this should be considered the first full appearance of Punchline, which I guess doesn't matter because the community has decided that it is, and apparently so has CGC. And as a Batman fan, I needed to pick this up because I just didn't want to miss out. So I did not get this at a deal, paid a little under $40 for it, and I wasn't impressed. Story-wise, art-wise, which really surprises me for Steve Epting because I thought his artwork was killer during his Captain America run with Brubaker back in the early 2000s. And as far as a first full appearance is, or what is considered to be a first full appearance, I consider this to be kind of lame. Just my opinion. But I picked it up as a Batman fan, had to have it. And as we all know, with hot new books, sometimes if you wait it out, many times the book will drop in value, and that's when I usually swoop in and pick it up. But historically, I've noticed with franchises like Batman, Amazing Spider-Man, Uncanny X-Men, the fan bases are so rabid, sometimes the price does not come down. Some examples would modern Batman books would be, Batman Curse number 1, or Batgirl, I believe, number 23, which has that killer Joshua Middleton cover. So I just wanted to nip it in the bud and pick this up. So, long story short. Or not so short, rather. Pick of the haul, Batman number 612. Comic I am very psyched to have picked up. And something that I've wanted to complete my Hush run for a while. This is the second print Jim Lee sketch cover. And I just love this, man. Batman and Wolverine are my favorite characters. Jim Lee is my favorite artist. I've been on a sketch cover kick so far this year for some reason. And look at those bare bones Jim Lee pencils. That is just sweet. So that will do it for this month. I will be back in a couple of weeks with my a comic book collection spotlight video focusing in on my top 50 dollar bin pickups. I ended up getting quite a few requests after my last video wanting to see my best deals from the dollar bin, and by a lot of requests I mean 4. So apparently I'm very easy, you don't have to twist my arm. So I figured that would be a fun video to put out in a couple of weeks. After that I will have my last dollar bin binges from the Fringes video for a long time, obviously, and that will encompass all the dollar bin books that I've been picking up this year from January until, this craziness started. And after that, a couple of weeks after that, I will have my probably my last comic book haul video for quite some time. My 75th haul, my 75th double-sized anniversary haul. And after that, I will be plumb out of new books, aside from a couple of books that I'll be picking up online that will be trickling in. So hope you all can be there to join me. Thank you all for watching, liking, and subscribing. Thank you to all the essential workers out there. I mean, I'm an essential worker also, but I am not out there in the hospitals, in the, as a paramedic, working in the grocery stores. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm away from the public. So for the essential workers that are working with the public every day, thank you so much. You people deserve a raise, you deserve a parade, and you definitely deserve a vacation. So take care of yourselves, and thank you. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all next time. Take care. See ya.